Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. Welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe if you're serious about investing in the digital asset space. And let's get right into it today. One take and uncut. Happy Friday. So check this out. We've talked about this document about 100 times. I'm going to reference this at the end of the video with some interesting points. So if you do anything today, please watch, the last 5-10 minutes of this video for some new information that you may have not already heard. But first, I'm going to go through some recent news and kind of tie it all together as always. And again, even right here, this NTT data kind of, plan roadmap that they made, again, tying the real-time gross settlement systems of the world, local payment rails, cross-border rails, again with the central banks as well, and having the XRP ledger at the center of it all with, of course, an interoperability protocol, the interledger protocol that was already gifted to the group that governs the entire internet. And as we see here, for example, just kind of naming and spitballing here, ACH, since 2014, we've already been partnered, Ripple, the company meaning, we've already been partnered with the Nacha Alliance that oversees the entire backbone of this ACH electronic network. But I'm sure that's just another coincidence, as we talk about always on this channel. My beliefs: keep the price of XRP and other digital assets as low as possible for as long as possible until they're ready. Why move the price and make random people money until they're truly ready to leverage the technology? There's going to be many digital assets that are successful. Maybe not 5,000 of these open sourced projects, but hey, the top 100, the top couple hundred, top 50, very likely. Now again, nothing I say here is financial advice. This is one man's opinion, but boy, the years of research, it is coming to a boiling point sooner than later. So please do your own research as always, and let's get into the recent news. So right here, Matthew Liny sharing the stablecoin currency, again, proposed for Hong Kong, China, Korea, and Japan trade. So again, CKJ, don't want to reference it, but again, makes you think of Bearable Guy 123, always funny to entertain. Now, essentially, this is, again, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority is proposing this idea, and they are also partnered with R3. We've already tied that connection. And basically, just to kind of skim through this, check this out. So we've talked about China's central bank digital currency, the kind of 50% soft rollout, again, priming the masses to go more digital. Of course, it allows them to keep better control, taxes, everything. All right. And again, we're going to be streaming payments in the future. Taxes will be automatically deducted with smart contract capabilities. Everything will be automated. All right. Accounting, finances, everything. So again, this DCEP is digital currency electronic payment. Now check this out. This is kind of regarding the US dollar reserve status. A key point not mentioned directly is that the Asian stablecoin, again, kind of between these markets for trade, would reduce the usage of the US dollar. A recent study showed that almost 50% of Japanese exports to Asia were denominated in the US dollar as of 2018. Again, we have the reserve status. By we, I mean me, because I'm in the United States. But again, even the United States, thanks to many dilemmas, says it's time to change this reserve currency. It's not in everybody's best interest. And if we want to get to that next level of operational efficiency, economic and financial inclusion, we obviously know it's time. Every 90 to 100 years, there are black swan events in the market, and the reserve currency is replaced. Now, my beliefs. I don't think XRP is going to be this reserve currency by, what people think when I say that. What I think is that, of course, there's going to be reserve pools and protocols of assets. And instead of holding for the pre-funded side of the correspondent banking network, one tiny use case, of course, valued in the trillions, it's very likely that XRP, amongst other digital assets that may have intra-networks or permission databases, will also interoperate. But it's my bet then, rather than holding, 180 currencies that we see today in a basket of just-in-case money of, $2 to $27 trillion on the side, it's more likely that instead of 180 currencies, you can just hold a big bag or a small amount of XRP that can be any of those currencies. And instead of operating and sending 2 to 6 days and 6% error rates, you can just use a small fraction of XRP that can be multi-currency and sent within 3 to 5 seconds to settle with finality on the core ledgers of these central banks. No more going back and forth with all the messy clearing, clunky architecture, different languages and messaging standards. There's going to be true interoperability. All right. So it's not just going to be a digital asset. And we're going to talk about why a digital asset is actually needed for this level playing field and why it will be on a permissionless basis for the most part, but it will also interoperate with a permissioned blockchain for privacy of these networks and many other, of course, centralized excuse me, centralized blockchains are going to be faster as well, the scalability, but they still need to go and interoperate with other layers. We'll get into it. And again, why Swift and all these other groups are not just going to have atomic settlements and kind of direct swaps between currencies. We're going to explain why there has to actually be that bridge asset as that medium of exchange, because there's so much FUD. There's so many people that are, misinformed. They comment on my videos. I'm only one man. I can't answer every single question. So when I see something or I see the same concern every single video, I try to, answer this. If you watch the 300 videos I've done on this channel alone and many other channels or even blogs that are very informational, hopefully you'd realize that you can, see what is happening here. I'm not going to, be able to hold everybody's hand, but I just want to encourage you guys to question everything I'm sharing with you and do your own research. So again, we understand everything was denominated in the US dollar as of 2018. Most of the balance was in Japanese yen. In 2017, 8.6% of Japanese exports to Korea were won, and 12.6% of exports in China were in renminbi. Right? Even the World Bank talking about these three countries alone, again, CKJ, China, Korea, Japan, accounted for nearly 23.5% of 2018 global GDP. Makes you think, guys, this is a huge part of the market. Even China is one of the world's biggest economies. Remember what I'm saying on this channel? You guys, call it crazy until that happens. Watch the Asian Investment Infrastructure Bank, the Asian Development Bank, HSBC. Watch these big groups. I think we are in for a very big surprise by end of year. And I'm not going to speculate with price, but if you understand, even in my previous video with ACI Worldwide, a RippleNet partner, they are transacting $162 million plus every second. Essentially, that's $5 million for as fast as you can snap your fingers. That's $5 million sent over the ledger every single time. Now, that's not even going over XRP via XRP yet. What I'm saying is, if you understand these roadmaps, you understand the central banks, you understand the big players that kind of get money from this and have a vested interest for improving these systems, just get ready. All right. Now, really quick before I continue to rant. Even right here, we have great news with XRP, the remittance volume growing. But ODL, on-demand liquidity, is not what I'm focused on. It's awesome. We need to get that. If you understand actually how it functions, going over the XRP ledger one time, you understand that ODL doesn't directly affect price. Now, many people have no idea what that means. And I want to emphasize that I'm extremely bullish on XRP regardless of that. This is a mere stepping stone. Now, if you can understand this, even seeing kind of the markets here, I think it's about, and this is, again, from Caroline Bowler, and again, CEO of Bitcoin Markets, BTC Markets, talking about ODL growing. We can see 5% over week basis or growth since January in terms of volume. Again, April was the biggest month. We are seeing growth, guys, 84% growth since January. Everyone's complaining about 20-cent price points, 15% or 15-cent, even sub-dollar price points. You have no idea what's in store. It is simply a matter of time. We are watching everything coming and wait until that ground floor of utility rises, be it slowly or quickly. All right, so again, US 1.8 billion sent back in personal remittances. You guys are focused on remittances with, $1.8 billion. You think that's a lot? What did I just say about ACI Worldwide? $14 trillion per day transacted and $162 million plus per second, 24/7. Do you understand these markets? If you understand the DTCC, 1.6 to even $2 quadrillion per year, and the former CEO is on the Ripple board, and you tell me that DLT and all the banks for the past 5 years at least have been teaming up with this. We're going to go over some interesting information at the end of the video. If you guys don't understand this technology, the only reason is because you're looking at, the current price of the market. You're not seeing what's happening there. You're seeing what they want you to see. This is all about cognitive dissonance. It's chasing everyday people out because you're looking at the price and going, oh, well, if it was going to be used, it would have already gone up by now. No, you're missing exactly what happened in the dot-com bubble in multiple industries. Why does this happen time and time again? Why are there, multi-year bear markets and then all of a sudden, boom, it explodes and you go, wow, I wish I invested in Apple. Man, I wish I had Amazon back in the day. Man, I wish I saw Microsoft. It's because it works. This is psychology 101. It works on people, and a lot of people have little to no financial IQ. All right? So before I continue to rant, so we talked about the stable coins here. All right, next up, I Am Legion, just a quick thing. Trading strategies for digital assets, GSR markets. So again, just to take a quick peek, I just want to speed through this. So we can see huge partner in terms of liquidity, OTC, trading services. They've been around for quite some time. And just to show you even the backbone of them, the partner with them, etc., their quick history right here, 2013, GSR became one of the first market makers on Ripple's consensus ledger. Now again, the validators are becoming more and more decentralized over time. Pay attention. Integrated with Bitso. Again, Ripple exchange partner. You have to see where this is all going. I have zero doubt, like truly zero doubt. It is just a matter of when and how much. All right, now check this out. So Digital Asset Investor found this in his recent videos, CRCM Ventures. This is really cool. A quote from Brad Garlinghouse showing that these companies are actually investing in XRP. If you think that 55 billion in escrow is just for Ripple to hold on to, you're wrong. This is for dispersion, to make sure that they send it to the right players so that they have the actual liquidity in hand. Okay, to provide a network, you have to distribute it wisely with key players that are basically incentivized to help this network grow. All right, so briefly, CRCM Ventures, as we can see here, we see Brad Garlinghouse's quote. I mean, literally on the front page, if you scroll down, you can kind of click through these few tabs again. We're going to read it. 1 second, though. So again, they actually stand for, as we can see here, and it's not really shown a lot, is China Rock Capital Management, a global investment management firm that invests in tech companies in Silicon Valley. And yes, I do believe that Ripple is very likely to go public. Please don't do those stupid questions or comments about what's better, for Ripple's IPO stock versus XRP. I think it's pretty obvious at this point what's going to happen. Both will be successful. And my points, digital assets with an actual utility use case. I'm interested in digital assets. I'm not just focused on stocks at this point. I feel like that's a very archaic way, kind of old man way of thinking when you understand what's really at hand here. All right, so again, CRCM, we see Ripple here, even EquityZen with the IPO, kind of the group that's distributing, and then Global ID. I know Digital Asset Investor has done some killer videos lately talking about them as well. And now we can see, again, plenty of companies. And just to read this quick quote, if I can find it. All right, so right here. Ding and the team he leads to, and again, China Rock Capital, CRCM, always demonstrated their ability to see around the corners and be bold. They were very early investors in both Ripple, the company, and XRP, the digital asset. And from those early days, they helped our team in building contacts and growing our network across Asia. Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO. Remember, do you remember when it was kind of a catapult to their partners with American Express? Then, of course, their partners with the Lian in China. Yet, Lian and American Express actually did a JV, a joint venture together for further kind of domination. You can see integrations with WeChat, Alipay, all the big Chinese networks. And guess what? These networks, that value still interoperates across borders. And now, arguably, we're actually seeing that XRP, not only just RippleNet for the messaging, can actually have a domestic use case as well, which is absolutely unbelievable. Now, if you guys are focused on on-demand liquidity and bridge assets and correspondent banking network, that's awesome. But guess what? You're still missing something that's even bigger, that even makes ACI worldwide and the DT. Well, I guess the DTCC could play a part, but it's the derivatives market in DeFi, decentralized finance. I think there's going to be so many cryptos. A lot of people on this channel get upset if I'm talking about XRP, Banker's Coin. They just don't know what they're talking about. Guys, DeFi is great for Bitcoin, Ethereum, every single altcoin that you invest in, provided that it's legitimate, has the fun, and continuously solves real problems instead of just making up problems and trying to solve them. They will succeed, okay? CDPs, collateralized debt positions, it is going to be insane. Okay, another cool thing again, by Status, his website, status.hr. You can learn about Ripple and XRP. Awesome website. Appreciate all his work. Now, PwC right here is running a node on the XRP ledger. Surprise, surprise. Caitlin Long, one of my favorites, again, former director of Morgan Stanley. And she says, even in this video, again, founder and CEO at Avanti Financial Group, it's coming. There's no question about that. Talking about, audits and cryptocurrency, digital assets. It's pretty clear if you ask me. And if you don't think it's clear, that just means you have not done the research. Everything's going digital. It only makes sense for things to be tokenized, even stocks. Mr. B XRP had a great video just talking a little bit more about asset fractionalization, understanding that, some stocks that are even, $15,000 per stock, $250,000 per stock, with asset fractionalization, or a Facebook stock at, $200, $500, whatever, you can buy a portion of it as well. You don't have to buy one whole stock anymore. Okay, and remember, Caitlin Long, if you have not seen the previous video I did with the Wyoming Blockchain Select Committee, she is really, really killing it and helping for adoption of blockchain and teaching you guys. Of course, you're wondering if your crypto actually works out and takes off. You're taking profit, and if you don't, know your capital gains rates and, how to work the system, you could be paying a lot in taxes. And I understand that is a concern, but remember that article I shared of Caitlin Long in my previous video of how you can actually custody your assets potentially in another state, or be a resident under that LLC, under another business, to take advantage of the system. Again, guys, just goes to show many people have a low financial IQ. Now, I'm not perfect. I'm constantly learning, but please do your own research, because there's always a way. The people that are truly successful in life, they might not be the smartest, but guess what? They're go-getters. They are doers. Okay? Are you consuming information, or are you creating information? Try to do a combination of both. Okay, so again, talking about PwC back in 2014 or 2016, talking about, XRP specifically, talking about Ripple, all the great things they're doing. Immense strategic importance, operational efficiencies, talking, distributed ledger tech, DLT, which is literally the XRP ledger, is the next evolutionary jump in business process optimization. Surprise, surprise. I mean, this is all the stuff that you guys know, but I just want to show you, even back from 2016. All right. Next, digital asset investor showing this, Ethan Beard of Ripple. Now, this is really cool too. Now, before I read this, Working Money Channel did a great video, and he was talking about and basically explaining to people why Ripple employees cannot speculate on XRP. You understand that it is actually, due to current regulations, illegal for them to share an honest opinion about being bullish or bearish for XRP. So whenever, any clickbait article comes, why are you guys so curious and say, oh, well, why don't they ever talk about the price? It is literally illegal for them to speculate on an asset. They don't want it to seem like a security. They're working with the law. And guess what? You and me, they're a private company. XRP is open source. So that's just a protocol they're using and a digital asset they're using. Do you understand that they owe us nothing? They're a private company. I don't know why people are looking for them to talk about XRP and saying, oh, it's going to $10. No, that makes no sense. They're for institutions. We are resale. They're wholesale. Pay attention. Okay. It's actually, and now here's a quote from Ethan Beard again of Ripple. It's actually quite possible to issue a token on the XRP ledger. It's something we've never really pushed for. We've kind of discouraged it due to securities issues. Turns out that they may not have been an issue, but it seemed like the smart thing to do at the time. Now, do you remember the recent videos of David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, talking about tokenizing assets on the XRPL? Do you remember sending IOUs? Do you understand the capabilities of a built-in decentralized exchange, DEX, a DEX? There are so many more applications that you guys are missing out. It is not just XRP. It is XRP with the XRP ledger in tandem with the Intraledger protocol. And then guess what? We are also missing Codius. Again, hosting smart contracts, the capabilities. I'm going to talk a little bit in the future. I have some more research to do, but Mickey B. Fresh has been going in depth with me and kind of sharing a bunch of information. Extremely smart guy, talking about how deep Codius and these connections and these smart contract languages can go, even these smart oracles. Just pay attention, guys. This is absolutely huge. If anything, we are here at just the right time. All right. Now, lastly, right here, Gonzo, before I get into the other article. So Gonzo, Etherbase, I guess it's Etherbase. So Gonzo XRP sharing this again, another exchange listing. I'm going to say Etherbase listing announcement for XRP. Faster, less costly, and more scalable than any other digital asset. XRP and the XRP ledger are used to power innovative technology across the payment space. So we can kind of take a look at this article on Medium, just announcing it. This was on May 22nd. So happy Bitcoin Pizza Day for those of you that know. The gentleman that, spent, what was it, 10,000 Bitcoin on about $41 of pizza back in the day. Little did he know how valuable Bitcoin would become. Again, talking about that, as we can see, I'm not paid by this exchange, just showing you another listing. When these exchanges list XRP, they have to get XRP from the open market. Awesome utility there. And again, we already know all the documents with Bitcoin and Ethereum. When the networks are extremely congested, these traders, even the market makers, are using XRP and ending up, trading XRP to send to these exchanges and even transfer due to the extremely cheap costs. When Bitcoin is at 20K, do you guys really want to be spending or paying $50 fees to send, receive, and trade your Bitcoin? Absolutely not. It defeats the purpose. It's just so silly. Whether Bitcoin is a store of value, I wish you guys luck. I wish Bitcoin luck. I do own Bitcoin from time to time. Sometimes huge amounts, sometimes little amounts. It just depends on how I'm playing the market. But, excuse me. But, all I'm saying is XRP is built to solve the payments problem. There's going to be others potentially to solve logistics, oracles, anything in between, guys. Messaging, whatever. There's use cases for everything. I'm just saying XRP is going to be solving the payments problem. All right, you ready to get into the big information? But again, BTC Market CEO, 1.8 billion. You guys think this is a lot? I mean, of course, XRP is one of the few assets that actually has live institutional use cases with even MoneyGram, the second largest money service business in the world. If you think this is a scam, dislike this video and don't come back. And then you can come back and watch when XRP is at a much higher price. All right, let's get into this information here. Again, we're going to tie it all together with this document by the NTT Data Company, all right, and Everest, all right? All right, guys, we're going to be talking about this document by I Am Legion. This is his blog on coil.com. I will link this in the top of this video description. I'm going to go through it and actually explain a few things that go in hand with this, and I'm sure I'm even missing more information. The rabbit hole goes very deep. So we are talking about Swift today, and again, XRP, the banker's coin. So talking about Swift again, back in 1987, the banks voted on an issue. They kind of, were working on new standards, introducing new standards, and accepting new standards for their 11,000 banks and clients. So you can understand that sometimes they are forced to basically utilize new technology. They are not funded well whatsoever. Ripple is a behemoth compared to them. It's kind of the David and Goliath. Just understand that, okay? So Swift has partners. All they do is process messaging. They're not an actual competitor. They are just part of the legacy system, the dinosaur technology that is going to be updated in the future. Okay, so whether it's R3, because they've already done initiatives, and we're going to talk about that with Swift GPI and kind of, partnerships with DLT, it gets really, really funny and how clear it is that DLT is going to be shaking the system. Now, all you care about is, will XRP be a part of that? And it's my belief, not financial advice, that absolutely. The question is, how much? And again, volume and price over the ledger determines how high the price of XRP goes. And we are not even seeing, the utility that is in the books, okay? We are seeing real utility over the ledger. It's my belief, of course, just like Mark Cuban says, any asset that surpasses $1 billion market cap is here to stay. Like, it's going to be fine. But I'm just showing you, we are at the very beginning. If you think that, $10 trillion, in market capitalization, these are metrics for stocks. This is digital assets. This is actually holding and transferring digital value. You have no idea how big this is going to be. Okay, so you can read about Swift again. I'll link this in the top of the video description. Please support I Am Legion. He has so many other blogs that are really, really informational, especially if you're a newcomer. So as we know, about 61% of Swift's board is also or are also members of R3's consortium. So R3, we already know all their connections. XRP is the first digital asset they named to be settled, or at least integrated with and utilized by the Corda settler. Right? And they have a joint venture with SBI. SBI, one of the biggest shareholders of Ripple and R3. But I'm sure that's just another coincidence, not a plan for global domination and, adoption. Sarcasm. All right, Ripple's convinced huge companies like Temenos, TAS Task Group, okay, we're going to talk about them, and CGI to integrate the software solution. Now, we've gone over some phenomenal videos, all thanks to people like Damor Sahami showing connections to even CGI. Unbelievable. Please watch my previous videos if you're new to this channel, guys. You don't have to watch the most recent news. You have to understand how deep this rabbit hole gets. All right, so think about this for a second. Temenos is responsible for providing software solutions to 3,000 banks, and they agree to integrate Ripple software. This is simple software rollout, no question about it. Right now, CGI, that helped build payment systems like CHAPS, and we've talked about CHAPS extensively. This is huge volume as well, just like Fedwire, and Swift accepts to integrate Ripple software. Yeah, all these groups, all the biggest banks and the top 50 governments in the world have integrated Ripple and actually trialed XRP. Nothing else. They've trialed XRP just for fun. Come on, guys. We are waiting for regs. They are being delayed, as always, with manipulation because there's a method to the madness. This is going to be a huge, huge transfer of wealth. And of course, this pandemic that I never saw coming, these, lockdowns, this quarantine, this global liquidity crisis is the perfect time, an opportune time to show when you're ready to drive the system into the ground, you have to show and burn it all down, show how inefficient and archaic it is the perfect excuse to move to a new system for a level playing field of financial inclusion. All right, and then TAS Group is in the heart of the European Target 2 and T2S real-time gross settlement systems from the very start. And again, TAS Group, all a part of Ripple, okay? There's so many documents with them that go years back. All right, so agrees to integrate the Ripple software. What other fintech financial technology firm has done anything close to that? We can see TAS Network Gateway right here. Patrick Griffin talking, and he's of Ripple, with Jerry Norton and Michael O'Loughlin of CGI. So again, we know that CGI announced years ago even their intelligent gateway with Ripple. Again, Ripple's DLT, or distributed fintech technology, to their payments portfolio. We can see long history of shaping Swift, Chaps, other payment systems. Next, Temenos, 3,000 banks providing software to them. RippleNet is all software-based. They help and team up with these groups. Even CGI helps install it for their on-demand liquidity customers. This is huge. Now, 150 countries. Again, just another behemoth. 3,000 banks here. We have Finastra with 9,000 clients. That's already 12,000 clients. Swift, 11,000. Come on. Look at this. 80-20 rule, Pareto's law. You only need the top 20% and everything else falls into place like dominoes. So again, then we learned from an interview with the CEO from SIA, because Ripple's all quiet, guys. They're private. There's NDAs. They don't want to say anything. They said that they will not announce anything. It's up to the clients if they want to announce it. All right. So SIA, huge group in Italy, developed the real-time gross settlement system for 19 central banks, and guess what? Created a huge distributed ledger technology network with 600 banks and nodes. This also has to do with Overledger in the cryptocurrency. QNT is the ticker. It's Quant, or Quant Network. And yes, I am bullish on that. I've been talking about that project since, end of 2018. Okay, so real-time gross settlement system, 19 central banks. Again, central banks that actually issue and, govern the money supply. But I'm sure this is just another coincidence for all of you people that, only think that Bitcoin's going to change the system. But I don't get it. Again, you're looking at hybrid solutions. Private and public blockchains will be the future. Things won't change. Banks, governments, they still want power and control, but also want operational efficiency, and they have to interface with the open and the closed networks. It is completely obvious here. And I'm here not to, revolt and try to rebel. I'm here to make money. I just want to be transparent. I'm here to get an ROI via digital assets. Is that opportunity during this transfer of wealth? I'm also bullish on precious metals, but come on. So right here, SIA, we have multiple groups here. We have R3, of course, vested interest with R3 and SB, XRP, and then Ripple, and then SPI, of course. We have IBM. We've shown their connection with not only Stellar Foundation, but extensively with Ripple. And then Hyperledger, and Ripple developed the Interledger protocol. You can understand that. Bullish on Ethereum as well. And Hyperledger literally interfaces different implementations, languages, modular software with ILP, and again showing public blockchain networks interfacing with Ripple. And this is SIA, guys, with the 19 central banks. Now SIA and R3 accelerate the blockchain adoption, applications by 600 banks and corporates. Okay, so this is pretty significant. We even see Ripple with Mojo Loop, again, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I talk about them all the time. We see this gentleman, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I'm just going to say Costa Peric, the chief architect of SwiftNet, and worked for Swift for over 23 years. And he now works for this foundation with Ripple on the Mojo Loop project. Moja is Swahili for one, so one loop and ILP. So they're basically working to bridge these unbanked payment networks throughout Africa specifically. The unbanked, there are billions of them. India, Africa. And again, this is going to help everyday people. But why are they doing this? To make money as well. All right. So we have this gentleman, co-founder at Swift as well, SwiftNet, backbone worldwide secure network, currently connecting 8,000 banks and 1,000 corporations and servicing daily the world economy. Okay, now look at this. Swift started to explore distributed ledger technology with Accenture in 2016. But funny enough, Accenture partnered, one of the original investors of Ripple as well, partnered with Ripple in 2015, a year before they started talking to Swift about DLT. Just another coincidence. So Accenture entered into alliance with Ripple, even though they're one of, kind of the original investors as well. DLT enabling faster cross-border payments, real-time certainty for every settlement. Settlement is XRP. Understand that. That is the cheapest option. Okay. Bank of England, another central bank. Again, former Governor Mark Carney, buddies with, of course, Christine Lagarde, Steve Mnuchin, Donald Trump. If you can't see it, I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm investing in the people here. Okay. 2017, Bank of England did a proof of concept with Ripple regarding interledger protocol for their real-time gross settlement systems. But I'm sure just another coincidence. And we've shown this. You guys can read through this. This is all available on this blog as well with sources. Now, 2018, Swift Institute releases a paper called The Future of Correspondent Banking, Cross-Border Payments, specifically international, XRP use cases here. So the link is right here. Swift Institute, Future Correspondent Banking, 2018 of October. We can see contributors to the focus groups themselves. You can see many groups that are also on RippleNet, no surprise. Even Earthport, Bank of England, CLS, of course. They do over 50% of the settlement for, foreign exchange markets alone. This is trillions, just so you understand that. Trillions with a T, not billions. I'm not worried about billions of dollars of volume. I'm here for the big money. Okay, and then we have a Ripple, Marcus Treacher and Ryan Zagone. Ryan Zagone, we know his famous quotes as well. Proof of work does not work. And then Marcus Treacher. I love this guy. He, tons of experience, prior experience in leadership roles and board member roles for Swift and guess what? HSBC, another bank that is too big to fail and a RippleNet partner. And of course, we have other RippleNet partners as well, UBS, BNY Mellon, all these groups. It's quite clear. Mizuho, etc. All right, now they list the required criteria, and this is interesting, as a future payment system needs to have. So they need to have this in the future payment system from 2018. Settlement, liquidity efficiency, availability, ubiquity, predictability, and interoperability of systems. And again, this can be done via protocols and, messaging as well. Okay, so the ISO frameworks, even, interledger protocol to help these ledgers themselves of bank networks, mobile wallets, personal, everything just to interoperate, okay? Countries, central banks, etc. So they look at the design scenarios and they can take correspondent banking into the digital age, which is already happening. There's no question. Okay. They list 7 scenarios. That one stands out to me. So the one that stands out to I Am Legion here is 5 and 6. So we see 5. Global settlement utility model. One sec. I need a drink, guys. Stick with me here. Wish you knew how weird it is just to rant for, 20, 40 minutes into a microphone. All right. The creation of a global market utility that facilitates settlements and central bank money by connecting a country's real-time gross settlement system on the one hand and commercial bank on the other. Value-added services could be connected. Remember, all of this connecting the real-time gross settlements, global real-time gross settlements. We see all these local payment networks and the real-time gross settlement systems here. You guys can read all about this. And then wait until, look, XRP Ledger 2020, talking about the capital markets, connecting all of these boys way outside of DLT. We're talking capital markets, trade finance, Internet of Things, payment platforms, marketplaces. It's all right in front of you. Just remember that many people have been talking about this in the XRP community. There's plenty of great YouTubers out there. Get your information and check it as well if you're cynical. And then again, continuous link settlement today. We've already explained that they already have the capability with RippleNet, which is absolutely massive. And yet people still say, nah, too good to be true because it can make other people rich. But I guess you guys really don't understand how much money there is. And there's really not that many XRP investors. Bitcoin made, thousands of millionaires. If you think that this is outlandish, oh well. If everything's too good to be true, nothing's going to be good for you. So do your own thing. I like how that rhymed. I just made that up. All right. So right here, benchmarking a global settlement utility model against the key requirements. You can kind of go through here. Availability, no, but global infrastructure does not exist for foreign exchange. Ubiquity would be good with participant subsets. So we can kind of see it doesn't check off everything. And then liquidity and efficiency, this is huge. And we're going to talk about this, why we need netting. So it would need to offer multilateral netting solutions. So you need a way to optimize and see where you're at so you can, at least see the benchmarks of how you're improving. Banks need to see these metrics, okay? Now, and even talking about ISO again, the 20022. aligned with GPI. Okay, so synchronization and interconnectivity of the real-time gross settlement system. So we see a variance of the global settlement utility model could be the deployment of the method of synchronization, leveraging emerging tech such as DLT or existing tech. Such a model is currently being discussed in central bank circles. The objective is to create a third-party provider model where a real-time gross settlement system would have the functionality required for trusted third parties, the synchronization operator, to connect and offer synchronization services to the market. Almost like on-demand liquidity. Interesting. Makes you think. But I'm sure it's just another coincidence, all right? And again, this was actually created by NTT Data, the 5th largest IT group in the world. You know, it ranges from the 4th to the 6th largest. But yeah, that's just another coincidence. All right. The operator would have permissions to earmark and transfer funds between participating institutions' accounts in the real-time gross settlement system, but would not hold an account itself. The service could be used by multiple third-party providers, and functionality design would be agnostic. Okay, keyword, to what fund movements were being synchronized, again, payment versus payment, I believe, or delivery versus payment, domestic or cross-border. In a cross-border context, synchronization operator could be working with multiple national real-time gross settlement systems to synchronize cross-border payments. All right, multiple. So again, we have local payments, we have the real-time gross settlement systems. I mean, we even have just the money networks themselves of all of these countries interoperating via protocols, a digital asset, and a ledger. Pay attention to that. This is the future. I mean, these groups, you know, even Chris Larson alone, there's so much, and it goes very, very deep. And hopefully, even if this gets you thinking or you're cynical, I don't care. I just want you to question it and go figure it out yourselves. And then call me out if you think I'm wrong. All right. So right here, the Reserve Bank of Australia is already deploying synchronization, again, that keyword we're looking at right now, with regard to domestic housing transactions. Now, stay with me here. I want to go over something that's really important. It's common FUD for people to say you don't need a digital asset, which is just idiotic and means they don't do their research, but whatever. All right, so in this model, we choose to use a private distributed ledger structure where central banks connect with each other for the purposes of earmarking funds. Okay, the above-mentioned synchronization operator would thus be represented by the distributed ledger itself in this example. Wow, so a distributed ledger as that synchronization operator. Why is the XRP ledger here? Interesting. Okay, and remember, it doesn't have to be XRP all the time. They can send IOUs and tokenize assets on them. They can collateralize assets. It goes very, very deep. All right. So right here, alternatives could include leveraging the utility settlement coin model. Okay, we've talked about them. We've talked about other intra-network permission coins between these banks for intra-bank settlement, not interbank settlement, which would enable a more efficient flow of interbank balances held in the real-time gross settlement system. The asset on the distributed ledger would be a reference representing the earmarked amount based on relevant central bank balances held by the sending bank. Now keep in mind, this is in 2018. Okay, now look at this. In a hypothetical future scenario, a potentially viable way to enable central bank money settlement for cross-border transactions leveraging DLT would be if central banks were to issue fiat currency on the distributed ledger, okay, so stablecoin, and then via the establishment of interledger protocols, ILP, which we literally are showing in this document, ILP, interledger protocol, provides central bank settlement or settled cross-border payments via atomic settlement. Again, all or nothing. They utilize escrow amounts when the criteria is met. Boom, it goes through. But that means that there's no actual digital asset or bridge asset between this, right? So is there a pro to this? What are the cons? However, such an approach could potentially have significant implications on the way the payment industry operates. So it almost seems a little too disruptive. Despite regional real-time gross settlement hub initiatives discussed in Scenario 4, a large-scale approach of real-time gross settlement connectivity via DLT deployment and issuance of central bank digital or central bank cryptocurrencies, again CBCCs, is an unlikely scenario in the short to medium term, as proposed by the Bank of England synchronization model. Other technologies could be explored for this purpose, allowing for ease of migration and adoption. Now, Look is already integrated with the majority of everyone, and they've already had this rollout, and it actually becomes cheaper as they utilize it. All right? Many people believe that the 50 billion in escrow, just like Miguel Valles said in 2017, or maybe before that it could actually be gifted to a government body as well. And they're a private company. They don't need to tell us anything. They can roll it out, make this whole change in the end of year or the coming years, and then all of a sudden we're all clueless, and then they kind of let it out, or they don't have to let it out at all. So look at this. Real-time gross settlement interconnectivity leveraging DLT synchronization. Now, this is what I want to talk about. The model discussed does not sufficiently address the market problems. Okay? So again, this type of atomic settlement between two currencies without a bridge asset. And they can use a bridge asset for atomic settlement as well. Additional challenge of the technology adoption of DLT and no clear picture as to how this could really improve financial stability, okay, because it doesn't want to be too disruptive. They still need stable markets and settlement finality. Unless we move into a central bank digital currency, central bank cryptocurrency, and interledger protocol world. If everything becomes real time, there is no possibility for liquidity optimization as there is no ability to net. All right, that is the point. Screenshot that. Okay, so again, you need those metrics to improve. You need optimization. There's going to be a bridge asset, period. The conversion rates of the current system, if they fluctuate so much, without a digital asset that's highly, highly liquid and spreads in a decentralized marketplace for all of these banks and governments to actually use and source on-demand liquidity from, it's going to be extremely expensive for swapping this tech. And it's the same problem we have today, but digital. Do you understand where I'm coming from? The euro and the USD valuations are always fluctuating up and down. With atomic settlements and an actual highly liquid bridge asset, you can solve a lot of these problems. It is truly revolutionary. All right, so synchronization element looks theoretically promising, but will require more in-depth development. Okay, almost done here, guys. Benchmark synchronization, and again, talking what happens. Again, settlement, yes. Liquidity efficiency, no specific improvements unless GPI supports indirectly. So again, there's no improvement for liquidity and efficiency with this model. Availability, DLT is not yet mature. Interledger connectivity would need to be established. Ubiquity, okay? This would be a key requirement. Transparency, yes. Predictability, yes. Okay, now check this out. Even the European Central Bank and, of course, the Bank of Japan tested with Interledger Protocol. Again, this is Project Stella. We've talked a lot about them. Check it out. Of June 2019, these banks are actually looking on the interoperability protocols created by Ripple and Hyperledger. Are you guys really not paying attention to that? In Interledger Protocol, it can use any digital asset. It's agnostic, which is awesome. But guess what? It was created in tandem with XRP. The founders, everyone says, yes, it is their whole points to basically create ILP and XRP, and that's the secret sauce. But yeah, just another coincidence, I'm sure. Okay, and again, it says experiment without ILP and with ILP. All right, now 7 different companies showing illustrations of Swift. This is awesome. Connected with Ripple. So we show Earthport again. Huge behemoth. Please check them out again. They're acquired by Visa. So again, right here, RippleNet connected with Visa and Earthport already. Earthport at the hub of multi-currency type of, settlements as well. Okay. Standard Chartered, another investor in Ripple and RippleNet partner, real-time gross settlement. We can see Ripple payments right here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, now CGI, huge group. We've already talked about them. Just a quick, not even to show a really good point here, but again, there's plenty that we've gone over, so please check those out. We can see right here, FinTech, and they have Ripple named, but they've already, been known. They have an intelligent gateway, and they literally show on their roadmap Ripple basically replacing Swift. So CGI, another global company showing this, and I guess I can pull it up again, but if you watch all my videos, you'd understand this. All right, and then see again that Italian group. We can see the application layer, platform layer, and infrastructure layer. Look at this, Swift GPI. But then all of the layers, we have a Ripple for SIA, and this is in Italian. Just another coincidence. SAP, even with the Ariba network and Goldman Sachs. But yeah, just another coincidence. They did, all kinds of tests and proof of concepts between ATB Financial in Canada and Reese Bank in Germany. And look, overseas payments, a cross-border transaction took 20 seconds instead of 3 days, utilizing XRP. Just another coincidence. And again, this was all integrated and thanks to Amazon Web Services, their cloud provider. We talked about cloud. It's going to be huge as well. All these technologies are going to complement each other, and it's about interoperability. All right, these are the types of things that I invest upon. True fundamentals, true proof of concepts, getting as much data to make an informed decision so that gambling turns into investing. All right, and then task group. I can literally Google a document as well and just kind of show you the back and forth. But task group, we can see available network drivers. You can see Ripple named here, even with EBIX. The networks, connecting them, SEPA or SEPA, whatever. We have all these groups. Ripple, EBIX, SwiftNet, CNN. Okay, all integrated. And then Volante, again, one of the technology providers for the clearinghouse and the real-time payment initiative here in the US for domestic, improvements, even Finastra, ACI Worldwide, which we talked about, 162 million plus per second of transactions, unbelievable. RippleNet integrated. We have Volante right here, and then right here, APIs connected to Ripple. It's all right in front of you guys. This is going to be huge. Everything's going to be, digitalized or tokenized, I should say. And again, a consolidated view of all the holdings and positions across currencies, capital markets, trade finance. Sounds familiar. I mean, we were just talking about capital markets and trade finance, capital markets, trade finance. I mean, look at this. And I'm literally just whipping this out, just to kind of show you an example. It goes so deep. All right, so summary. World's biggest financial software integrators and payment system developers have chosen to work with Ripple, CGI, TAS, Temenos. The world's biggest network has chosen to test and look into Ripple software. SWIFT, Bank of England, ECB, Bank of Japan, SIA. I mean, we can go to India, China. It goes really deep. Looking at the current recession and the lack of liquidity and the fact that the world global leaders know that printing money and cutting rates since 2008 has only been a band-aid. It's just delaying the inevitable. Maybe in 2008 with that crisis, they had no endpoint in sight and it was scary. But do you really think, 12 years have passed and they don't have an end game? You really think we're just kind of printing money with quantitative easing by the Federal Reserve into oblivion with no, end game in sight? Come on, guys. All right, it becomes clear that they've been looking for a solution ever since. And funny, shortly after this global liquidity crisis, Ripple came to be. All right. Now, Ripple has positioned themselves accordingly, and by becoming part owner of MoneyGram with that $50 million investment strategic acquisition, the backing of SBI of Japan, R3, and NTT Data, it's clear to me, XRP is a banker's coin, and XRP will be the world's global standard. All right, guys. No, none of this is financial advice. I'm going to go through some interesting information in future videos. I can pull up some CGI stuff just to kind of re-show it on the channel, but please just watch my previous videos and kind of speed through it. I hope it really does help you. Maybe some of you know way more than me, and that's fine, but I'm just trying to speak at, a high level for everyday people that are coming into this market because I have newcomers all the time. So with that, guys, I appreciate all of you that liked the video. Remember to check the links in the video description as well with anything cryptocurrency related. Shout out to my top channel members, Jamie XRP, Mikey, Crypto Beginner, Philip, Miles, Ken Melendez. I appreciate you guys. Be sure to like this video, share it around on Twitter, Facebook, and until next time.